Hey everyone, Ben from MySportsStop here with Richie Donnell. Our scouting report today is on tight end O.J. Howard from Alabama.
Yes.
He's from Alabama, so
Yes.
we know he's good.
Right.
But what do you like about him?
Yeah, I like the fact that he's an all-around tight end. There's not many of those left anymore,
Yeah.
But he can do it all. Coming from Alabama, they're not necessarily known for using their tight end a whole lot, but what helps is the fact that he can run block and doesn't have to come off the field.
Right.
Because they're a run-heavy
Right.
offense. Also, the fact that he's able to still get out and make plays on the outside, catch the ball, run away from people. This year, he set a career record in receptions and receiving touchdowns. So Alabama definitely found out his true value more so this year than they have in the years past.
Yeah, he is the true definition of the new era tight end,
Right.
Or the receiving tight end. He has the body, he has the speed, he's got the hands
Right.
even. Just an exceptional athlete as
Yes,
well.
yeah.
So he's also had some big performances in
Yep.
big games. If you remember from the 2015 championship against Clemson, he really stood out.
Yeah, that was kind of his come out party, so to speak. I think a lot of people anticipated because he's an Alabama player, he was going to come in immediately as a freshman and just start dominating people, which didn't necessarily happen. I mean, he had good numbers and he contributed to his part, but it wasn't as if he was really going out there and dominating. When he went to that national championship game that they won over Clemson, that was a different story. He just completely dominated. That was his come out. When he decided to come back to school, I think that shocked a lot of people. But it definitely paid his dividends because now instead of, I think, competing for that number one spot, I think he has solidified himself as that number one tight end.
Yeah. Now, when people talk about Nick Saban's Crimson Tide players, they're competitive. They're tough. They want to play. Some people don't say that about Howard. They question his competitive nature. Do you question that?
I mean, a lot of people will say that in the anticipation that because in some games he's not necessarily the focal point as in other games that he might. And I think that has more to do with the fact that Alabama is a running team. He's not necessarily going to get all the targets that you would want of somebody of his caliber because they run the ball so much. They have a freshman quarterback and just so many weapons that he's not necessarily that guy.
Okay.
And if you just go look at the stats, that's what a lot of people base their opinion off of. Well, what is he giving me in the box score? And in a game of football, so much goes beyond the box score that's where you got to try to look and find the ins and outs of a player.
So who do you compare him to that's maybe been successful in the NFL?
I probably have the best comparison that you can get of any tight end. That's Tony Gonzalez.
All right.
Now, whether he's going to be Tony Gonzalez or not, it is a different story, right? But just because of his size, his ability to run away from people, to create that separation, and I think be an elite receiver at the NFL level, puts him in that same category as Tony Gonzalez, who holds all the tight end receiving records across the board.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a different comparison here. Jimmy Graham. I'm thinking more on the receiving side. When Jimmy Graham was in New Orleans, he was really a wide receiver in a tight end's body.
Right.
And I see that the same thing with O.J. Howard. They split him out a lot in Alabama. I think whoever drafts O.J. can use him the same way that New Orleans used Jimmy. So where do you see him going in the draft? We know first round, probably, but where in the first round?
I'm going to say maybe middle to the late. I think you're going to see top 20, a couple teams in the top 20, maybe try to dip into the tight ends a little bit. He's not necessarily on that same level as Eric Ebron, who's going to go up at 10, 11. I don't think he has the speed to go that high. But I think that you're going to see him start to go around 20. I think if you're watching the draft, you're going to see the thought of him going.
I mean, and just some teams could look at that maybe need a tight end. Buccaneers at number 19. Denver at 20, maybe Oakland at 24. I think you could go early as Arizona in 13, give Carson Palmer somebody
another
to work
weapon,
with.
right?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to go on our website, mysportsstop.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more original videos.